Barcelona wrapped up the 2024-25 season with a near-flawless campaign. They conquered La Liga, lifted the Copa del Rey, and added the Spanish Super Cup to their collection after taking down both Athletic Bilbao and Real Madrid. The only blemish, a heartbreaking Champions League semi-final exit against Inter Milan, losing 6-7 on aggregate in one of the most emotionally charged ties of the year. Yet, even that stumble couldn't overshadow the brilliance of a season where Barca truly came back to life, reborn under the stewardship of Hansi Flick, laying the foundation for a new era filled with promise. With that strong foundation in place, Barcelona have no plans for a revolution this summer. Flick has found his ideal core, solidifying the 4-2-3-1 formation as the team's unmistakable identity throughout the season. But that doesn't mean every position is locked down. In fact, the biggest question mark lies in goal. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, a longtime pillar of the team and leader in the dressing room, is now at the center of a dilemma. Despite being one of the highest earners in the squad, earning £5.2 million a year, his form has dipped, especially following a lengthy injury layoff at the start of the season. He's no longer the untouchable number one. The club's leadership is keen to move on, but ter Stegen has made it clear he intends to stay until 2028 and see out his contract. The resulting tug-of-war has made the goalkeeping position one of the hottest talking points at Camp Nou. Barcelona wasted no time acting. They triggered the €15 million release clause to sign Joan Garcia from Espanyol. He may not be a headline name, but this was a calculated move. Garcia led La Liga last season in total saves, 146, playing a massive role in helping Espanyol stay afloat after just earning promotion the year before. On top of that, Wojciech Szczęsny has just signed a 2-year extension. That sets the stage for a three-way battle between ter Stegen, Garcia, and Szczęsny, one that Hansi Flick must carefully manage during preseason. At a club like Barcelona, reputation alone doesn't earn you a starting spot. As it stands, Garcia is expected to start, with Szczęsny next in line and ter Stegen trailing. While the goalkeeper spot is being restructured, the back line is one area where Flick can breathe a bit easier. Despite whispers of key departures, the professionalism of the squad, praised even by Spanish media, has helped keep things intact. Ronald Araujo, who came under heavy criticism during the latter half of the season, reported back to training 4 days ahead of schedule. Andreas Christensen, entering the final year of his contract, also returned early to join the team. Barcelona had considered selling the Dane to avoid losing him on a free transfer, but Christensen made his desire to stay clear. Flick respects that decision and values his tactical flexibility, being capable of playing both at center-back and as a defensive midfielder. In Flick's preferred 4-2-3-1, names like Jules Koundé, Alejandro Balde, Pau Cubarsí, and Íñigo Martínez are expected to be mainstays. Cubarsí, a raw gem polished by La Masia, has taken enormous strides. Balde, on the left flank, continues to offer explosive width and dynamism. With that combination, Flick is confident in maintaining a high defensive line, even if stability is still a work in progress. And let's not forget Eric Garcia, whose versatility remains invaluable. He can slot in as a center-back or a right-back. Still, Barcelona are in the market for reinforcements, particularly at full-back. While Koundé has filled in admirably at right-back, he's a natural center-back, and his deployment out wide isn't a long-term fix. On the left, Balde is immensely talented, but adding quality depth behind him will ease his workload and give Flick more tactical options, especially with a packed fixture list ahead. More fullback depth means more flexibility, reduced injury risk for starters, and ultimately, a more resilient defense. In midfield, the anchor roles are firmly held by Frenkie de Jong and Pedri. It's hard to find a duo in Europe that blends ball distribution, press resistance, and attacking support quite like they do. But make no mistake, Pedri is the crown jewel. 7 goals and 10 assists may not look mind-blowing on paper, but context is everything. In Flick's Barca, Pedri is the creative soul, the spark that ignites every transition, the mind that sees what others don't, and, perhaps most importantly, The 2024-25 season was the first in years where he went through a full campaign without a major injury. After the Copa del Rey final, Flick couldn't hide his admiration. Pedri is the kind of player every coach dreams of. He doesn't just play the ball, he controls space. Pedri's vision, his sense of space, and his ability to move the ball forward have reached a level few can match. It's no surprise many now see him as a serious Ballon d'Or contender in 2025. While Frenkie de Jong may not command the spotlight like others, his presence remains quietly essential, dictating the tempo, maintaining balance and linking defense with attack. When both he and Pedri are fit, Barcelona's midfield becomes almost impenetrable. Behind them, Marc Casado has emerged as a reliable backup. With 23 La Liga appearances and starting in 7 out of 10 Champions League matches, there was a time he was even seen as a potential heir to de Jong. Unfortunately, a 2-month injury break derailed his momentum just as he was finding his rhythm. Further up the pitch, it's impossible to talk about Barcelona's 2025-26 campaign without centering the conversation on Lamine Yamal, the face of both present and future at Camp Nou. The 17-year-old just completed a jaw-dropping season, 21 goals and 26 assists across all competitions, 3 domestic titles, and a massive role in their run to the Champions League semi-finals. Now, having officially inherited the iconic number 10 shirt, once worn by legends like Messi and Ronaldinho, Yamal is no longer just a promising youngster. He's the heartbeat of Hansi Flick's project. It's rare in modern football to see a teenager dominate La Liga the way Yamal did. His Champions League performances, particularly against Inter Milan, displayed a maturity far beyond his age. At this point, it's no longer far-fetched to consider him a serious Ballon d'Or contender, even before turning 18. In Flick's now familiar 4-2-3-1, Yamal is locked in on the right wing. But the central attacking midfield role, the true number 10, remains a work in progress. Last season, Flick rotated between Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez in this position. Olmo, more of a playmaker, was trusted in big Champions League games, starting 6 out of 9, while Fermin brought raw energy and directness. But tellingly, both averaged only about 50 minutes per game. That suggests Flick hasn't yet found a definitive answer. Raphinha was tested in the role 6 times last season, tallying a goal and 7 assists. Not a bad return. Still, the Brazilian feels far more comfortable cutting in from the left. This revolving door at number 10 signals one of 2 things. Either Flick is still searching for his ideal fit, or he's waiting for someone new to emerge. Which brings us to the left wing, and the biggest twist of the summer, Marcus Rashford. After failed attempts to sign Nico Williams and Luis Diaz, Barcelona pivoted and shocked the football world by securing Rashford on loan from Manchester United, with an option to buy. According to Fabrizio Romano, Barca will cover his entire £325,000 per week salary. A staggering figure for a loanee, and clear proof that Hansi Flick sees Rashford not as a rotation player, but a cornerstone of his attack. Once hailed as the pride of United's academy, Rashford fell off last season and hasn't played since December. But now, in a freer, more dynamic system like Barcelona's, and with full backing from the staff, he has the perfect conditions for a revival. Expect to see him starting on the left, his preferred role, though Flick could also deploy him as a false 9, much like he did with Raphinha in select matches last year. That said, in a fully settled system, the number 9 role still belongs to Robert Lewandowski. 42 goals and 3 assists last season put any doubts to bed. The Polish striker isn't done yet. Under Flick, his former manager at Bayern during their Champions League triumph, Lewandowski has rediscovered his killer instinct, even at 36. He no longer presses like he used to. Now he conserves energy, focuses on movement, and finishes with ice-cold precision. The dream of winning a Ballon d'Or might be out of reach, but a top 10 nomination? Still very much on the table. Backing up Lewandowski is Ferran Torres, a versatile forward who thrives when drifting wide and offering alternative patterns in attack. Barcelona will enter the 2025-26 season with a solid 4-2-3-1 formation under the leadership of Hansi Flick. In goal, Joan Garcia is expected to start, competing with Szczęsny and Ter Stegen for the number 1 spot. The defense remains stable with Koundé, Martinez, Cubarsí and Balde forming the core back line, supported by backups such as Araujo, Eric Garcia, Gerard Martin, and Christensen. In midfield, Frenkie de Jong and Pedri are set to anchor the double pivot, with Gavi and Casado providing depth and rotation options. Up front, Yamal will spearhead the right wing, backed up by Swedish wonderkid Rooney Bargji. The central attacking midfield role will rotate between Raphinha, Dani Olmo, and Fermin Lopez. On the left, all eyes will be on Rashford, who is expected to thrive in Flick's high-octane system. Leading the line will be veteran striker Lewandowski, with Ferran Torres serving as his deputy. This squad promises a thrilling mix of youth and experience, a balanced foundation for Barcelona to chase major silverware once again. Still, questions remain. Can Rashford adapt quickly to Flick's system? Will the number 10 role finally be nailed down, or will the rotation continue? Is Yamal truly ready to carry the legendary number 10 shirt? And most crucially, does this well-defined core have the depth to conquer Europe? Those answers may start to unfold during Barca's upcoming preseason tour of Asia, a crucial warm-up before the campaign begins in earnest. Until then, Culé have every reason to believe. After all, the journey they just witnessed was nothing short of magical.